What is up, YouTube? Sports Striker once again, and hope you enjoyed that mailing opening I did earlier. So today's deck profile was something I barely completed this weekend. I just didn't get a chance to do it since I was busy. This one's basically the deck I promised to show, which is the April 2004 Chaos Yatagarasu Lock Banlist. Basically, with this deck, it was the most broken shit ever in the meta. Now, we all know about meta decks, but this was the originator, so technically being the most broken, with both Chaos Emperor and Yatagarasu dominating the game, having to just fuck around your opponent and just put him in the Yata lock and then cry, or beat him over with, and then try to do Fiber Jar effect and just screw it around. You know, just basically, it's just one of the most stupidest decks in the world. Now, I made this build more like for a little bit of today's meta, you know, like kind of a little more stupider. So you don't see Lomo and Crossout, some other cards. Well, I cut some of those off because I wanted to make it more of a Myver variety build with this, but it still contains only the cards that is part of the list of 2004 in April. So the limitations and everything. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get straight to the deck profile. Now, to start things off, obviously, is the main guy, Chaos Emperor Dragon, the most broken beat stick ever until he got Errata. Still waiting for this guy to come to the TCG. This guy, back in the day, was so fucking unbelievable. What he does, for those who don't know, is that you, obviously he's a Chaos, so like BLS, you summon him that method. What he does is you pay 1,000, send every card from the field and hand from each player to the graveyard, and then you inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each card that was sent to the graveyard this turn. Includes himself, and he's a 3k beater. Now, the purpose was that is you get him out, and you have a Witch of the Black Forest on your field, and make sure you didn't conduct a normal summon yet. And then what you do is that once those cards are the grave, Witch of the Black Forest effect goes off, searches Yata, and then when you haven't conducted normal summon yet, you get to go ahead and activate, unless you have Ultimate Offering, you pay 500, you already conduct normal summon, then do whatever. If that works or not. And then summon Yata, attack him, and then the whole Yata lock presents, which we'll get to it. And then also, we play the BLS. BLS is not as very powerful when you think as Chaos Emperor does. All this card does is just banishes when it can't attack, and then when it attacks monster, it attacks again. So, that's basic. 3 Dark Magician of Chaos. This guy is just fucking amazing. You gotta play 3 because that way you go ahead and have him in the graveyard, special him, get your spells off. You can normal special or spend him to get the effect, which is whenever you go ahead and add a spell from your graveyard to your hand. Afterwards, then when this card leaves the field, it's banished, no matter what. So it's kind of like what made it so stupid about it. Next, we play 3 Magician of Faiths. Also, well, you gotta play 3 of these. Basically, you can just set it down and just get your spell cards again. Basically, the best part about it is that you got these 2 in the grave. You just go for one of the cast cards, but only when this card is in the graveyard by an effect, not from the field, because once this card's in the field, it's dead. But the combo I did one time with my friend Stevie on DN was 2 of them set, and then like flipped it, they Forceful Sentry, and then return a card from his hand to the deck, flip, do it again, and then flip, do it again. It's just this card is just hilarious. That's why I love it so much. Next, we played 2 DD War Ladies. Gotta play this card. She's amazing. Just banishes a card. Some people think it's a setting or anything, and then when they attack it, they're just surprised and they get banished. You gotta love her so much. Next, for the Spellcaster type level 4 ones we have is Kaiku. Kaiku, I love him so much. Basically, just to go ahead and inflict damage and banish my opponent's cards from the grave, including preventing him to banish cards. So people should play Kaiku in their side decks, you know, for whichever, so that way they can't do anything. Breaker, the reason he was at 1 was because he was an MST. This guy is just so amazing. He's not good anymore, but you know, I love him. He plays a counter, pop a card, back row, just do whatever. And then we got Witch of the Black Forest. Now, I know people play Sengen in this build as well, but the truth is, I cut Sengen because he's very slow, and Witch of the Black Forest is better, especially since you add a monster with 1,500 or less defense. That's why people prefer her over the Sengen. That's why Sengen was still around until I got hit. And then for the jars, Cyber Jar. You gotta love it. Just pops a card when it's flipped, and then your opponent just draws 5 cards. Most of what you do is reveal, and then you both get to keep the cards you draw, and except for the card that can be specials can be like normal or whatever. Special them that's level 4 or lower. That's in attack position or face down defense position. Yeah, that's so great. And then I played Fiber Jar, the most stupidest card that made Empty Jar retarded. 3 NLCG. What it does is basically, for those who don't know, why this card is so stupid and it would never come back is that when it's flipped, reshuffles all cards from field, hand, and graveyard, including himself when he gets destroyed by battle. So reshuffles both, and then each player just shuffles their decks and then draws 5 new cards. It's just a restart button. That's what it is. I cut Morphing Jar because sometimes it's not that useful. Because it's just more like a kind of a dead draw. Anyway, Injection Fairy Lily, love this card. This card was just legit stupid, just being paid 2,000 to make it 3,000 stronger, so just beat over. Center Serpents is standard, just has your just discards or anything. And then obviously Yatagarasu, it's a spirit monster. What it does is when it inflicts battle damage, your opponent cannot draw. That's what makes the Yatagarasu so stupid. And then it just comes back and then you do it again over and over. You see, that's why he's never coming back. And people think this card should come back. No, that's a big mistake. You imagine playing this card in a Pendulum deck. This card will never see the light of day. No matter if you're errata, it's just stupid. And now that's it for the monsters. For the spells, I play the best ones, which is Hand Destruction. Forceful Sentry. What it does, you just look at your opponent's hand and then shuffles back to the deck. So it's your original cast spell. Just so stupid. Dealing with Duel. This card actually lasted as well as both Chaos and the Scapegoat format. Just pay 1,000. You get to randomly choose one card your opponent's hand, discard it, and then your opponent randomly discards a card from their hand and they discard it. So great. Just make sure that when you activate this, they need to have at least 2 cards or more. That's it. Otherwise, you can't activate it, period. And then we got Card Destruction. I just went over to Card Destruction because, sometimes you want to get rid of it with one of the cards I'll show you. Or like, if you have a dead deck hand, I prefer playing this over the Morphing Jar, so I don't get my opponent to have a new hand. Draw Powers, Graceful Charity. Draw 3, discard 2. Not agree, because, hell yeah. Upstart Goblin, because who doesn't want to draw? Then, Mr. Senior Steel Girl, Change of Heart, and Snatch Steel. The most broken shit ever. And then bring them back. Monster Reborn and Premature Burial. Freaking love these 2 cards. They're the best. Destruction, Raigeki and Dark Hole. Standard, which is fine, which is they're out. And then MST, and then I play the Harvest Fair Duster. I cut off the Heavy Storm. I know people will be like wondering why, but I feel like sometimes when you have a good back row or anything and you don't want to get rid of it with a Heavy Storm, I prefer this. And Harvest Fair Duster was one of the hardest cards to get, but I'm so happy to finally have it in my hand, in my deck. If I do need a Heavy Storm, I'll probably cut something and put it in. Anyway, Painful Choice. But this card just got banned for a reason. Here's what it does. You go ahead and just pick 5 cards from your deck, and then after that you shuffle. Then your opponent has to pick one of those 5 cards you choose, and then the rest of the cards that weren't chosen go sent to the grave. So you just go ahead and get your 3 Demox out, you get your Sinister Serpents, your Card Destructions, you get whatever, and then your opponent picks in, you add to your hand, and send the rest of the grave to be part of your plan. What United Stand was at 1 at the time because it just made it a boost. And then Swords of Green Light, because, it was so stupid. I love it. Stall card. And then for the traps, we play Call of Haunted. Same thing. Specials. Ultimate Offering, got to get that extra summon. Really bad. God, because the fuck with God. Mirror Force, because Mirror Force was the most broken shit ever. And the best one, Magic Cylinder, because it was so stupid. And I love it. And then that's it, guys. That is basically the Chaos Emperor Yada-Lock Banlist from April 2004. This deck took a while to make. People mostly prefer the Scapegoat because it was faster, I admit. But this deck, I prefer it because it looked interesting. It is very powerful. It is fucking broken. I love this more than the Scapegoat format. But I would love to have a challenge against Scapegoats and let's see who the better deck is. Doesn't matter, I'll say. Even if they beat me, I'm not going to complain. It's pretty good. But I hope you enjoyed this deck profile. This worked a lot, like I said. So give this video a like. Comment what you really think about it. And yes, I did make this mostly for formats, and I tried it a lot. It's hilarious, especially when you're against heroes with Dark Wall. They can't win. Pendulums, they lose. So don't ask about that. Share this to your friends. Subscribe if you're new. Like my Facebook page. And this is Force Striker and the Yellow Lock. Signing off.